just give it a second. Make sure this stream is up and running before we get started here. Give it a chance for people to pop in. Make sure audio is working. Just give it a second. Yep, audio is working. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is going to be my commentary on Prime Catch's TAS run of Sled Storm. He's doing all the open mountain, all the open mountain championship tracks. So none of the super snowcross tracks. And this isn't all about speed. This is more of a playground TAS. So it's just for fun to show off the movement in this game. Got the classic PlayStation 1 splash screen. First off, we'll see him putting in some cheat codes to unlock the cheat sled, which is the sled that it's going to be using for this TAS, and then unlocking some of the other tracks that you would have to unlock doing the Open Mountain Championship. Some fast menuing you can do with the TAS here, you can see. So first track is Pine Valley.
3, 2, 1.
This game, perfect start. How to get a perfect start in this game, you have to hold acceleration and then release right as the one is like below your character's shoulders. Right out the gate, we're doing a really interesting submarine into like a snake jump to go into this Pine Valley shortcut there. Dropping into a submarine here. If you nosedive into collision just right, you can submarine underneath the ground, which is really fun to do. And it's even harder to do with the cheat sled. This is the infinite hold glitch. If you pop your sled up at just the right angle and hold a hold trick, you can hold it infinitely. Oftentimes if you do it on console, the game will crash. Doing our first skip here. Just crashed into a different checkpoint zone. And then we're going to do an alternate skip here. It's the submarine skip. You dive underneath the checkpoint zone. You can actually complete a lap like that. It's not as fast as actually doing the crash method because you have to go on that backside of that mountain. I mean that jump there. And by the time you turn around, you've wasted a lot of time compared to actually just crashing and doing the checkpoint zone. But it's still interesting that you can do it.
2, 1.
Here we're at Kodiak Canyon. Taking this side shoulder up here, doing a recliner into a nice nosedive. Popping us up into this upper shortcut here. Got a nice submarine going. Popping us out up on this upper ledge. Quickly dropping down to the right. We go visit the bear over here. Do a little dance. The bear doesn't always do that too. It's funny. He kind of like walks around and then occasionally does that. So it's funny that it happened to be at that time. Some nice movement here. You can see this game is all about trying to keep your sled on the ground as much as possible. Doing our first skip here, it's really easy. That was the skip. Across one checkpoint, you can just clip between two barriers, two checkpoint zones, and then cross the finish line. We're gonna go into a really weird submarine here. It's a lot harder to get into these with the cheat sled because the acceleration stability is very weak. But they were able to get underneath that checkpoint zone and still cross the finish line, and it counted. Going over to Hardpack. Art pack has a lot of fun movement. Getting that perfect start into this first shortcut is very difficult. We got a sign boost here. If you hit the sign at just the right angle, the collision will bonk you forward into a submarine. Collision is very weird here. That resulted into a wall ride, where if you're in between two walls, you can just climb up them. Dropping us into this pond 1. Nice little pop decade in there too. Oh, there's another sign boost. Another sign boost. They're really hard to get. Giving the kicking the bunny with the parallel can. little sign bonk for no reason into a wall ride. Alright, up on this top shelf here. Just gonna drop back down on the track below. We're gonna do the traditional way of doing the skip here. You just crash up beside this checkpoint zone, and then you can just spawn behind the finish line. Finish the lap. Going into another submarine, I believe. Yes. And if you go deep enough, you can get underneath. But the the amount of work to get underneath is more than anyone should do if you're actually trying to do a skip here. But with a TAS, it's fun to see. Off to Eagle Ridge, one of my favorite tracks. There's actually a cheat code that you can put in that will make your sled bounce like that. So we're doing the frame perfect skip here. You crash right in the same frame as like between two checkpoint zones, and it will spawn you in front of the finish line. Extremely hard to do. I've done it in a few runs. Nice sign bonk into a backflip. Nice snaking here. Really slippery, slimy movement, as I like to call it, into a train track jump. Nice and clean. We're going into a submarine here. Underneath the water, as submarines should. Into a wall ride, a very deep wall ride. Climb up to the top of this shelf easily. It's a lot harder to do with the cheat sled. But if you have a storm sled that you've gotten from the Open Mountain Championship with all the upgrades, it's a lot easier to do. Just riding across this shelf. Nice one-footed can hold. Very stylish. And this is the first wall ride that was ever discovered by me. Just riding up this top shelf. Just get a nice scenic view of the Eagle Ridge. Dropping down inside the train tracks below. Tried to do some snake action there, but the stability in the cheat sled is so wobbly. You can flip so fast. Doing the around the world, as we like to call it, a wraparound to a recliner into a boulder clip into the rock climb. That's the traditional shortcut that's used for most runs. Going through the snake shortcut to the rock hop here, nice and clean. Very nice. I would have the chat up right now, but somehow it's not popped up, so I'll just have to read everything after. I think we only have like 15 minutes left. So glacial grind here. This track is all about staying on the ground. Nice little mini decade. Go into the Igloo Club. You can clip into here and don't without breaking it, unless the racers decide to do that. But only a handful of people have made it in, including myself in Prime Catch. Going into this cave here, going off to the side path. Get a nice sign boost. It's one of the strongest sign boosts into a submarine, into a wall ride, which is the easiest way to get into a wall ride when it comes to the cheat sled. We're just gonna ride this top shelf and enjoy the nice backgrounds that EA has created for us. We don't actually get to see all of it because the walls are usually blocking it. Stylish drop down right into the lap. It's like a blind drop. Now we're doing the traditional skip that is used here. It's interesting. Oh, then we got some possession here. That's what I call this. You can ride inside of racers after you crash, and it will keep you in the ghost form that they use in the time trial mode until you're outside of the character. But yeah, Nadia possessing Jay. That's what I call that. No side suicide, no hander. One of the longest named trick in this game. It's one of the biggest jumps naturally in this game. Parallel can and the one-handed Superman. Nice sign boost into the bunny hop. That's unnecessary to drop down, but if that happens, if you fall down, that's the quickest way to get back up. We got some CPU bullying here, manipulating Ryan to stay on top of Nadia's head. I can't imagine how long this took to keep him stable. And Ryan still has another lap, I believe. He's got to be confused. I really enjoyed that. That was probably a lot of tapping of left to right, acceleration. I can't imagine how long that took. Here we at Goat's Bluff. Going straight into the goat climb, which is actually considered a shortcut. It's very hard to do. And we're getting a deep snake, or almost submarine, into the goat cut right here. Popping up to this right path. Very awkward landing to get on that naturally. As you can see, it's just keeping the sled grounded. Constantly holding forward and steering at the same time in this game is very hard to keep your sled on path, because there's small little polygons underneath that'll like push your sled one way or the other, and it's really easy to flip over in the process. So you have to know the track very well. Going straight into another goat climb, and turning around to drop into the checkpoint zone to do a checkpoint manipulation skip, which is the traditional way of doing the skip category. To another goat climb. We're gonna, I believe he goes into another wall. Yeah, an alternate wall ride over here. You can pretty much do wall rides anywhere. And that's still crashing within the same checkpoint zone as he did on the second lap. It's funny how far you can fall down without actually crashing. As long as you keep your sled stable. I believe on Lost Peak you can do the same thing. You can go down that little ravine and stay alive. As long as you keep your sled stable. Alright, we're at Perilous Pass. Unnecessary path taken. Another unnecessary path. Indian air, no footer, recliner, one-footed can to a one-handed Superman, decade, backflip. Just naming some tricks here for you guys if you don't know already. Into the tree shortcut. This track is all about jumps. So it's one of my favorites because you can get a lot of points on it. Parallel can Indian air to a one-handed Superman. Very difficult to do. Do not recommend trying to do it because I believe their combos are different than one another. So they're technically not supposed to combo together. But if you do it fast enough, I believe it works. Going into the castle entry, into the perilous pass shortcut here. Just wrapping around. The cheat sled doesn't quite have the acceleration to make the jump across. That was interesting. Parallel can one footer into a nothing. These little slopes right here, really annoying to deal with. They kill a lot of time in runs. Going into the third lap here. Now there is another skip, but Prime Catch wasn't able to do it because the cheat sled does not have power reverse and wouldn't be able to do a backwards wall ride. Get to say hello to the snowman, a little stare down before we destroy him. One-footed can to a mini backflip. Oh, we're mirroring Ryan's tricks now, as I can see. Yeah, just doing a Superman hold. Now look what Ryan just did there. That just goes to show rubber banding will save anything in this game. He did like a completely vertical nosedive Superman and still landed. That was very interesting. It was like a one-footer into a saran wrap. Not very commonly seen. Alright, going into the last track, Lost Peak. I believe I've seen this one, unless he updated it. So that turn actually can be devastating at times. It was a heel clicker into a knack. It's funny the animations are actually different if you do them by themselves. Oh, bounce off the B-52 decade. I love the combos there. Off that mohawk. You can actually like ride that and it'll give you momentum. We call this a turn of shame. No one should ever take this because there's a shortcut that we'll be showing off next lap. Heel clicker into one-handed Superman. Very interesting. So we're crashing off the side here to put us up here to cross a checkpoint. You can turn back around and submarine deep enough to go underneath the checkpoint. Very hard to do. I believe. I've tried it quite a few times. The thing is that your entry needs to be like just right and maintain your sled at a certain height. Oh wait, he does. Okay, yeah. There we go. So that was a leap of faith. It's much harder to do with the cheat sled. You have to take like an alternate route and do some snaking to give enough momentum. And that is the shortcut I was talking about. That you don't need to do the turn of shame. You just pop up on that ridge over there, cut out that whole turn, and I believe that's it. I believe that's all of the. That is all. That was really fun. It went by a lot faster than I thought. Let's see if I'm. able to read any of my chat. No, we didn't have anything. Okay, good. I was worried somebody would be asking questions. It was kind of impromptu, anyways. Well, I'm let's see. I didn't have any plans to do anything else after that, unless yeah, I think I might. If I do start streaming again tonight, it'll be not sure exactly what it's gonna be. I just wanted to do that TAS reaction. I'll definitely be watching it again and doing another recording because I wasn't completely prepared for some of the tracks. Wasn't aware of everything. I had seen all of them except the new update for the Lost Peak, being able to do the leap of faith, but everything else I think I remembered. But yeah, I'm very impressed with it. There's a lot of things that got me thinking, like if something is possible just based off the TAS, and that's what TAS is good for. Knowing is finding out if things are possible, going in there and putting the exact inputs in, so you can know for a shred of a doubt that it is possible or not. But yeah, that was fun. So I'll be doing this again maybe tomorrow or another night soon. So if you didn't catch it this time, you'll catch it the next time and you can ask questions. But yeah, you guys have a good night.